Best part about this is I never have to say you hurt me. Front porch sways in the wind some days, some nights pouring rain. And I live these moments every day. And I live these moments every day. Can't help but feel a bit paralyzed by what the air can bring. Songs of fortunes travel freely, and others stifled in the tree. And I live these moments every day. And I live these moments every day. Now the future's seeming brighter. Soon we'll fill these seats. Can't say that you never left me. Now you proved to me. So I'll keep following the rivers, following their lead. And I live these moments every day. 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 Every day, every day. All right. Hey, thanks.
Yay!
Wow, such an energetic crowd.
Awesome.
What's up, man?
Tyler, what's up, man?
Dude, just hanging out at home like you are.
Yeah. Thanks for being here. Thanks for doing this.
Of course.
In case you guys don't know, I'm Brad with QSC, as it says right there. And next to me this way, here, Tyler F. Simmons.
What's up?
Coming to us live and direct from Los Angeles, California, right?
Yes, sir. West LA.
West LA.
Represent. Okay.
Thanks for doing this. I'm really stoked to hear you play and to have a little chat with you. And if you're tuning in right now, feel free to post comments, questions for either QSC or Tyler, possibly song requests.
Hey.
And so, first off, give us a little info about yourself, your music.
Sure. I'm a singer-songwriter, and I'm a full-time musician. So prior to COVID, I was gigging full-time. That's how I make my living. And I also produce on projects on the side and produce my own music as well. So I do a fair amount of work in a studio setting and then a lot of work in live settings. So one reason that we were involved with each other was mainly through the live situations.
Yeah.
And now I've found through COVID and all the live streaming that using this gear from home, combining it with my studio gear has been a really cool melding together of the two. But yeah, I play full time. Not really playing much these days, but doing the live streams and writing a ton, and kind of doing a lot of editing on songs that I've written in the past, and putting all those together. That's really what I've been doing lately. But yeah, so I moved out here 6 years ago, and I've probably been playing full time maybe for 3 years. I did a handful of other stuff. I worked in a corporate setting at Interscope Records when I first moved out here in Santa Monica, and I was actually living about 10 minutes away from where I am now. Spent some time down in Orange County and living in Irvine, and that's where I met you actually.
Yep.
When I was living down there. And then I've been back up here for 2 or 3 years now, I think, but I'm still down in your neck of the woods where QSC is located pretty regularly. You see me, I see you down there more than I see you up here in LA. So.
Yep. Yeah, so you were one of the pilot artists for the John Wayne Airport live music program. They approached us where it was kind of like a co-idea about doing live music in the terminal. And so we provided a small PA system and asked, hey, who should we get to play? You should have Tyler play.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so that kicked off 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, that was a while ago, I feel like, and it was you, me, and Lauren Black, our friend, and it was just the three of us kind of working with their team over there at the airport and trying to see how everybody responded to it. And it turned out, I mean, still to this day is one of the more gratifying gigs I play on a regular basis. I know you play it too, so we've had such a great time over there just impacting people's days, you know, just as they're coming through. I've gotten more notes, letters, just comments there than I've ever gotten anywhere else. It just seems like it's something that's really kind of therapeutic to people during their flight and or prior to or post or whatever. But yeah, we piloted that, no pun intended, and I think it took about maybe 2 months or so for them to start ramping it up, and then it's been a thing up until the recent happening. So
it is restarting soon, I think.
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah. And then you did a live stream from the airport. What, two weeks ago?
We did one 2 weeks ago, and we worked with Blowhole Sound. I guess Blow Productions now, right. Not just sound, so it's productions. But yeah, he made it look great and sound great, and we were able to get the feed from like a full camera rig and obviously the touch mix into Instagram Live, which up until that point I had never seen anything but phones doing that.
Well, so here's the trick in case anyone's wondering. Oh, are you in arm's length of your touch mix?
Yeah, I am, yeah.
Okay, so there's a button that says FX mute on it.
Is it in the EQ settings?
Oh no, it's a button. It's actually on. It's like a rubber button.
Yeah.
Press that, and that'll kill your effects.
I have no reverb now.
Well, when we're talking, so like
makes sense.
That's one of the features when you're in between songs, you want to talk to the crowd, you can just pop that. The only trick is you have to remember to turn it back on.
I'll make sure to pop it back on.
I'll remind you because we had a comment on Facebook saying, hey man, turn the vocal effects off.
You got it, dude.
So the other thing I was going to say, in case anyone's wondering about live streaming on Instagram, there is a plugin that Blowhole uses that I heard from someone else. So he's using OBS, which is open broadcasting software, which is a free download. But there's a plugin thing called yellowduck.tv, and you can kind of grab a code from your Instagram and put it into Yellowduck and then put that into OBS, and you can stream on Facebook and Instagram at the same time.
Right, and it makes a huge difference too. I mean, not that streaming from a phone isn't something that's accepted and commonplace now, but when we were able to get that kind of content onto an Instagram feed, I mean...
Oh yeah, it's a million times better. It's like commercial level TV grade quality.
Absolutely. And I kind of hate streaming on the phone as it is. I was just telling Brad before this that I was actually doing an Instagram Live for a showcase series out of Hollywood, and I didn't even think about it, but I didn't want my phone to die, so I had my phone plugged in, and I had it in the case. It was like a 30-minute set, and in the last song, everything started overheating, and my phone started freaking out, and so it can really present with a lot of issues. So I was stoked that Scott got that going, and we got it going. It was a lot of fun, and it was great to create that day. It was awesome.
Cool. So I mostly hear you play cover music, but I know you have a lot of original music. The song that you just played, is that available to the public?
It's not yet.
So you're still kind of working on that one as far as releasing it.
Yeah, I wrote it in March or April, like right at the beginning of all of this when everything was getting shut down. I think I played my last gig on March 15th. And I think I wrote that song probably like 2 or 3 days after that. And it was sort of about my relationship with music and just exactly what we're going through right now and just the ups and downs. I'm planning on, I started demoing for this next project last week. I do have a 4-song EP that I released in 2018. That's on all the outlets.
Cool.
And
if I look for Tyler Simmons or Tyler F. Simmons,
if you put the middle initial in there, yeah. So Tyler Simmons is a younger singer-songwriter from Canada. And
there's another one out there.
Yeah, there is. And actually, we have we're actually like friends on Instagram and stuff. Like we've talked because for a while we were like back and forth on YouTube, and I decided that instead of just telling him, "Hey, you're younger," I figured I'd just change my name. And he actually ended up going to Berklee as well, which makes it even weirder. So when he was applying to Berklee College of Music, I was getting emails like "Welcome back," but it wasn't. They got us confused. Like it's been a whole thing. So so if you put the middle initial in there, and that's why I'm like particular about it, because if you don't, not a lot comes up, or it'll be like, a therapist in Rhode Island or something. So anyways, if you put the F in there, everything comes up. You can just Google it, and all the links will come up there.
F. Simmons. All right, cool. So I'm hoping you might play a couple more tunes.
Yeah, of course.
And if you don't mind, I'm going to pop out and let you take over the screen.
Okay, cool. Got my FX back on, don't worry. This is another new song. It's called Keep Me Safe. This is another one called Keep Me Safe. It's new. It will be recorded this fall, probably, so... out for is what I want to be. Hand on your waistline is waiting for me. I've lost my direction. My hand's all I need. I'm tossed and confused. Wanna set me free, and I am not seeing straight. Your lifeline I could never take. And I think I found my place. Wanna keep me here, wanna keep me safe. Something about you says don't lose your place. I forfeit it all. Don't let me erase this pencil thin line. You're not just someone new. I can't comprehend. Confusion, attraction, make your move. Tell me your name once more. You said it, but I missed it before. It's funny how things turn out. Wanna do this thing. What's this all about?
Like that one. That's a
Thanks,
cool one,
man.
man.
Um,
And I just realized I misspelled your name on a post I just did, so I got to redo it real quick.
Sweet.
Tyler F. Simmons.
Hey, man, it's okay. You know, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, but you got to make sure people find you and people follow you and people experience your music. I dig it, man. That's a
Thanks,
cool.
man.
I really like it.
Yeah, that one's a little. It's a little different. I mean, some of my stuff I've been trying to, especially now, especially some of the music that I've been listening to. I always feel like I listen to really like uplifting music when things are like slowing down, and then when things are like crazy, I listen to like super slow you down music and kind of like darker, depressing stuff. And I've always been weird about like picking how to like finally produce things or like how to flip them when like you finally go into cutting the song. And
Yeah.
part of me wants this time when I do this next project to be like just not worried about any of that stuff, and like in whatever way that the song exists, just record it in that way.
Yeah.
Just a lot of the stuff I've been listening to lately can be so minimal, and it's okay, you know.
All right.
It was like a that kind of stigma that it's it seems so messed up after like fully producing like a handful of songs. Like, how could you put out two or three acoustic tunes as like an official EP? But like sometimes, or like even an LP, like some people have half of the songs on their LP are just acoustic, and it's okay and it's cool.
Definitely okay, and it's definitely cool.
Yeah. So, anyways, been back and forth with some stuff like that with this
Yeah.
handful of tunes, and so yeah.
Hey, so I have a question. I was just
What's
thinking
up?
about this. Is so what have you been doing to stay sane during this time and stay positive? And we've had a bunch of just kind of chats here and there, and you seem like upbeat, positive, not too depressed. Any new hobbies or any advice for people, or what have you been? You got a puppy, right?
I did get a puppy. Yeah, that was that was my girlfriend and I got a puppy right before this started. So we actually got him in January. And at that time, like there was news of like the virus going around in China, but nobody thought it was gonna like come affect us. So at the time we got the dog, which is like late January, things are pretty normal. Fast forward, 2 months later, perfect time to have gotten a puppy. Um, and now he's probably going to have some sort of social attachment when we're not at home all
Yeah.
the time with him. He's like 8 months now, and he's a really good. He's been a good distraction. That's one of the things. I would say that's a big part of it. There was a period there. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm sure everybody's had this, especially if you're in the creative field or at all. But there was a time, like for a couple weeks, like maybe 2 or 3 weeks, like probably like late March into early April, where I was really down and I was really depressed. And actually, um, it took a little while to get out of it. I wrote some songs, and I don't know. I eventually got to the point where I realized that things were gonna eventually be okay. But for me, working a lot is kind of a way that I reassure myself that being on a creative path and doing all that stuff is worth it in the long run.
Yeah.
So not having that immediately kind of took away that confidence. But outside of that, man, I've just gotten back into fitness and mainly just running.
Oh, wow.
And
So do you run with a mask on or without a mask on?
I run late at night, so I go no mask and I run around my neighborhood. And when I do see people out in the afternoon, like when we go and walk the dog in the afternoon, there are a lot of people running with their masks on.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's like I'd say where I live 50-50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say in the afternoon, it's like probably like an 80-20 kind of thing. And then at night when I go, there's not very many people. I'll run like between like 9 and 9:30.
At night.
Like, yeah, I'll start at like 9 and finish up however long I run. But so I've been going no mask, and honestly, I've never tried it with a mask, but I have a feeling it could be pretty taxing. So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. And I think there's some that are made kind of for either easier breathing or whatever.
Yeah, there's a guy in our neighborhood actually who like has one of those like respirator like breathers on it, and I swear he sounds like he's coming after you in like a horror movie, and it's terrifying, man. Like like we saw him yesterday, and I literally was like, that is terrifying. Like, you know, he's like,
Yeah.
you know, he sounds like Darth Vader. But no, I've been doing that, man, and just writing a lot, and working on another batch of songs with an artist that I've been working with for a couple years out of Atlanta. And she's been ramping up to get some of her songs pitched, and so we've been working on mixes, and then I'm currently reworking on mixes, and we're kind of waiting for her show to be distributed that she's filmed. We actually got 2 of her songs onto that show last year.
Cool.
So we're kind of waiting for that to drop and get out there. But working on that kind of at the beginning of all this was really nice. And then, like I said, just sort of like, you know, getting outside and like doing as much stuff as you can without like going into places has kind of been the way to go.
Yeah.
And just writing and editing stuff. And messing with gear a lot.
Let me say hey to, do you know Kaylee Fernando?
Yeah, I do. Keely, yeah. She actually took the photo that we used to do the advertisement. She took that photo.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, that's a good one. And she said any songs about the puppy.
I don't have any songs about the puppy. I don't know that he's inspired me in that way yet, but you never know. You don't count it out, you know.
Yeah. And then a shout out to Basti. What's up, dude?
What's up, Baz?
Yeah, man.
Actually,
Bragunier? Andy Bragunier. Do you know him? I don't know him.
I'm not sure.
He's the one who asked to turn off the vocal effects, which is
okay. Fun. Cool. Yeah, I got that button now is on toggle. You know, I've never really, speaking of the touch mix, the mute groups, you know, Wizard, Aux, all that stuff. The only one I really use over there is the Phantom button and like the monitoring for headphones and stuff like that. I haven't really used that FX mute button very much.
FX mute's cool, right? When you're, you know, talking between songs.
Yeah, I'm gonna use it from now on.
You can hook up a, I think it's a USB foot pedal to turn off and on things on the mixer, and you can actually use that, assign a foot pedal to turn off and on your mutes, or off and on your effects, but you could also turn off and on mute groups as well.
Right, so good for looping and stuff like that. Yeah, totally.
Let's see, what was there? Was it one other thing? I can't remember. You got another song for us?
Yeah, of course.
Awesome.
Let's play another new one. Speaking of Basti and new songs, we've got about 10 tunes, and we'll see what becomes of those. I'm excited about that project too. It's good to be collaborating. If anybody's ever on the fence about collaborating, which I was, I'm scared of it, but it's actually a really eye-opening, wonderful experience to do.
You remember. Right. Good job, dude.
FX mute is off. All right, this song is about somebody I lost in my life who meant a lot to me. Not to get too depressing, but lucky to have him for a really long time. So it is about him. Everyone around him is grown, but a life he's known. You speak first, don't lie now. Has anyone around you been told this could be the end? If his daughter tells her he loves her, his arm isn't working, shots from my older brother. Frantically moving, he calls for others. Something's wrong here. New light shown, he won't go home. Wants to do his life on his own. How'd we get to this? How will I ever understand better? Conditions can change our bodies forever. When will the man who's taught me these lessons find his new life? One morning when I wake, I get the call that I don't ever wanna have to take. I've never been the one to hesitate, and now I know that none of this is fake. Teardrops from my eyes, you know you tried so hard to try. Try so hard to try. Trying not to cry. It's not a heart-beating tone, but her life is known.
Wow, that's a great tune, dude. I love it.
Thanks,
so
man.
much.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, that one's cool. I love the melody, but I love the words too. Really
Thank
good.
you. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that one comes together. I wrote it on a hollow body, just kind of giving that's kind of why the octave thing exists. Yeah. It's always funny writing things on different instruments and then converting them or playing them on other instruments, or starting with a capo and converting it to an open tuning or something. But that one sounds really good on a hollow body. I like it on acoustic too, but it's also a half step up from where I normally play it, but I'm down with it, and it's fun, and thanks.
That's awesome, dude. Hey, so let's talk a little bit about your just kind of your live gigging gear, because sure. I know you travel from LA to Orange County to San Diego and play hundreds of kind of just private events and restaurant, hotel gigs. And so what's kind of your most used kind of setup that you kind of normally set up?
Sure. Most used setup would probably be two 10.2s and the Touch Mix 16 and a couple guitars.
Do you normally use a pedal board and a looper and things like that, or do you normally just kind of connect your guitar straight into the mixer or use a DI or?
Yeah, I don't normally use a loop pedal, but I do have some, for instance, when me and Basti play together, we use a loop pedal because he's a loop pedal magician. And so we'll actually, our whole set is a loop pedal set. We had a set for a few years that was out in Palm Springs. It was a 4-hour, and the whole thing was loop pedal. And the cool thing about the loop pedal is it's different every time. But for me, I think the only reason that I don't use a loop pedal exclusively, I have one and I've used it before, but the thing with me is I play so many different types of clientele that I'm more concerned about the vibe and the experience and the songs that I'm choosing. And so when I'm going from a really large list based off who's in the audience and who's sitting or who's hanging out, maybe I don't have an arrangement for each one of those. So I don't use any pedals per se, but what I have done, and I would recommend this for anybody who's looking to create profiles for live setups, because if I didn't have the scenes in the Touch Mix, there's no way I could do the volume of gigs that I do. Absolutely no way.
Awesome.
And I would say that for anybody who's not using the scene function on the touch mix, if you're using it as a gigging musician or whether it's neighborhood shows, whatever you're doing, having the scenes so that you could just recall them and get them right is really important. And what I would recommend, if you have somebody to come and do like a sound check with you, that'd be awesome. And then you could just save that and get that going. But what I did for guitar profiles is went into like a soundstage situation, like a practice soundstage, and just played super loud and just sat there and EQ'd and compressed and did all of that stuff that I'm used to doing in a studio setting, like in Logic. I just did it on the touch mix on board, and as a matter of fact, I just used the iPad and just had the touch mix sitting over, and basically just dialed in the profiles, and then I saved, custom profiles for each instrument. And that way, if I plug in this, I haven't done one for this guitar yet because I haven't had it that long, but anything that I'm plugging in, I can just, set up.
Recall it.
Recall it and have it. And that way, really, it cuts down on your setup time.
For sure.
And so, the only thing I'm really concerned about is, getting the 10.2 set up in what sort of function that I want them in. But as a matter of fact, you ask about different setups. I have some setups where all I use is the touch mix because it's an integrated setup.
Yeah, so you just plug directly into that and then into the speaker, and that's it.
Right, and I mean, one of the hotels that I play in San Diego, I play in this big, I don't even know what to call it. It's like a multi-function, banquet, restaurant, coffee bar, just a lot of different stuff. It's connected to the main lobby of the hotel, but it's also near, it's right in Gaslamp down there. So there's people coming in off the street, just hanging out in the mornings. And I've been on that gig for quite a few years now. And they have a whole integrated Bose system. Who even cares about Bose though, right? They have a whole, just kidding.
They have a whole installed system that has different zones and stuff, right?
Correct. And everything is just like that. And I take the touch mix. I literally take the touch mix. I take my in-ears. I take my guitar and my microphone, and I plug it into the wall. And then the first day I was there, we got all the levels to be right. They control it, my maximum, gain and volume with an iPad. And I'm just sitting there with the touch mix hidden behind me and a microphone and some in-ears. And dude, I love that setup because I can hear myself the best in my ears, and they can all hear it however they want to.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of the time I'll run a 10.2 as a main, and then kind of either do what we do we started doing at the airport, which is cheat one out as a main on the floor as a monitor. But then some of the bigger setups, like if Basti and I are playing together, we'll run two 10.2s, two 8.2s, and the touch mix and a handful of guitars and a loop pedal board and his whole other pedal board setup. And and I mainly use this 87A, which I picked up a couple years back. And if anybody's looking or wondering if it's worth the upgrade from 58 Beta, it's $100, maybe $150 more. It's 10 times the microphone for some reason. I don't know why, but and you really find it when you crank it up. I was working on a gig last year with a sound engineer who couldn't believe the difference when at large levels.
Yeah.
If you don't like crisp, clean, and you want something a little looser, maybe stick with the Beta 58. I know a lot of people like it because it's not as articulate, but
I love the Telefunken M80. That's what I have a couple of those, and I love those.
They're good microphones actually, and Scott told me they were the original creators of the U87 cardioid pattern. He was telling me that Telefunken was the original creator, and that Neumann was basically hired to then keep the tradition going because it was so successful, and then because Neumann was so big, then that's how the U87 got to be so legendary.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't either until he told me. Thanks, Scott.
Hey, so before you play maybe one more song, have you done any gigs during the pandemic and socially distanced, or because Basti just said let's play more gigs, so I was thinking, so every once in a while I'll go out on my driveway in my neighborhood and set up, the little sound system, and then I'll play music for the neighborhood, and they all just kind of gather around and drink wine and hang out for an hour or two.
Yeah.
Have you done any gigs?
Yeah, a couple small things. I had a private thing that I did with an executive from Amazon, and it was up here, and it was a private night for his girlfriend's birthday. That's one that sticks out. And he had a chef there cooking a meal, and and I just stood on I was on the rooftop just playing my guitar and singing, so that was cool.
Yeah.
And then we've done some stuff at the airport. We've created some content for them, and I would say that's kind of where my focus has been. The social distancing aspect of playing a gig here or there has been interesting at best. You can have something, and from my experience, maybe feel comfortable and maybe not. So I don't know. I would say the social distancing, it depends on where you are, but
so we have a bunch of I know a bunch of DJ customers that play. I mean, their bread and butter is weddings and stuff. And so I've heard a bunch of them talk about, I want to set my limits up, and I want to know, how many people and what things that the venue and the client is kind of going to do, and then I'll decide if I want to do it or not. So what I've heard is there's been a number of kind of people still getting married, but they're changing the event. So instead of 200 people, it's turning into 20 people or 50 people outside. And so, there's these new buzzwords called micro weddings and mini monies and stuff like that. So
mini monies, I like that one.
Yeah. So it's like, it encourages me, because I feel like, we're going to kind of be dealing with this for a little while. And it's neat to see how people are being creative and safe at the same time to still kind of be able to, function.
Right. And I would say there's been situations that, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but all I'm thinking of is that there are some areas and locations that could probably host live music. But I've also just had cancellations for things that people said they were going to keep on the books because they were going to go ahead and do it. But there's actually like a law, like, I don't know if precluding is the word, but keeping them from actually going through with it, just because of the lack of ability to enforce social distancing.
Right.
But I am a bit of a different case. So there's been some situations that I haven't been able to participate in that maybe I could have, because I actually have a lung condition. So because I have a lung condition, I have to be like super careful with who I'm in contact with and like how much I'm in contact with. Certain people are I am considered high risk just because I've had some lung issues since like about 2011. So, and that's not like asthma stuff, it's like serious like lung collapses and things like that. So I'm sort of predisposed to possibly deal with complications should I get something with symptoms. So for me, I've been really picky about it, just because I have to. And I think there's plenty of situations where as long as everybody's, following the rules, but sometimes, it happens, over time. Maybe you start out and everybody's following the rules, and then next thing you know, you're buddied up with somebody, hitting elbows with no mask on, and then you're kind of like, oh, so I think it varies in situations.
Yeah. Well, that's really interesting stuff. And sorry to hear. You got to be as safe as possible. Right?
I was just born with it, so. But yeah, 2011 was the first time I dealt with it. I was a sophomore in college, I think, or junior in college. So I like have a 5-year window where if I don't have any issues, then like my risk goes way down. And so the last time I had an issue was 2016. So I'm almost at that 5-year window. But the way it went the first time was 2011, 2016. So I know that even though I'm coming up on the 5-year, it's like I could still have some issues. So yeah, it's just something I live with. I don't let it define me though. I'm not. Yeah, I just do.
Take care of yourself.
Yeah, there's some things I'm not supposed to do that I do, but I like to snowboard, so sorry, stuff like that. So I like to run. It increases my risk, but I love it. So, it is what it is.
Yeah. Gotta do what you gotta do. It's a
man.
balance, right?
Absolutely.
All right. How about one more tune? I'm digging your music a lot. Thanks so much, dude.
Cool, man. Thank you. I'm gonna play an older one. It's the only, I guess, not new song. This is the first song off my first EP. Keep talking about Basti, but he played guitar on this one.
Your mic's muted, or your guitar's muted. You know this, right?
Yeah, I was just doing it for tuning purposes.
Oh wait, the effects were already on.
The effects were on, man. What are we doing? All right, the song is called Beneath. Grab a hand, we'll fall softly and then we'll land. Pray again, touch the ground or you can't stand. Reach around, so sure to act so insecure. Give loud, now down. We'll just lay back and play some more. Beneath, don't hide what you believe. Beneath, don't hide what you believe. Throw a curve, I can't avoid the symmetry. Bring me close, don't undermine your first instinct. Beneath, now tell me what's the need. Beneath the sheets, don't hide what you believe. And tie my feet and see if I can stand. Trap my voice and ask me if I can. The shifting of this weight I can't explain. You told me I could be your man. The chilly breathing cancels feeling you're concealing. Don't you think he'd understand?
Oh, that's a cool one.
Thanks, man.
I was grooving hard on that one.
Thanks. Trying to get as much of the groove out of an acoustic guitar as you can get, you know?
Like it. That's a cool one.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. All right. So, man, thank you so much for playing, for chatting. Everyone out there that's tuned in, thanks for watching. Pam Jenkins.
That's my mom.
Oh, awesome.
Hey, real quick.
She posted 3 hearts.
Oh, sweet. Real quick, just wanted to shout out to my hometown of Wilmington, North Carolina. They got hit by a hurricane last night. So hoping everybody is doing okay. I know it was only a Cat 1 growing up. We know the deal with Cat 1's nothing to worry about, but evidently it was a little worse than they thought it would be. So just thoughts and prayers go out to all of them, and hope everybody's doing okay, not only in that town, but on the whole Carolina coast and everything. So shout out. But yeah, man, thanks for having me, dude. I appreciate it. This has been awesome.
Yeah, let's do it again. I think we're going to do it again in about a month with a female artist named Lauren Black. And so we'll have a Tyler and Lauren duo in about a month. So stay tuned for that. Again, it's Tyler F. Simmons on your socials, and he's got music out on Spotify and everywhere else. Be sure to follow him. Great follow. And keep an eye out for new music from Tyler.
Thanks, Brad. I appreciate it. And thanks so much to everybody at QSC. Stoked. I don't know how I'd be doing these live streams and everything I do without you guys, so I appreciate it so much. And always good to talk to you, man. I know we'll speak soon. So
you too. All right. Well, take care and have a good day.
All right, man.